Hi, guys. I hope you are all doing well. And if you are sick, it is the season for colds and flus and lots of coughing, unfortunately. I hope you get better soon. Get lots of rest. I still have some cough left from the cold I had a couple weeks ago, which is really annoying. But I keep drinking tea with lemon and honey. Hopefully, that will help it go away soon. So, our book today is going to be a chapter book. Do you guys know what that is? Have you read chapter books in school yet? So, a chapter book has a few sections which are divided by a title. You will see what I mean when we start reading this book. I think it's a fun book. It is called Misty. It's about a little girl and a boy who are best friends, and the boy's dog. Misty by Christine Denser, illustrated by Jessica Meserve. So a chapter book usually has a page that's called Contents. There's chapter 1, and that's titled Misty Wants to Play on page 5. Chapter 2 is titled A Very Important Job. That's on page 10. Chapter 3 is I Am Afraid on page 16. And chapter 4 is Being Brave on page 22. Chapter 1 Misty Wants to Play. Stanley is my best friend. He lives in the house across the street. I play with Stanley in my front yard every day after school. But we did not always play in my yard. We used to play in the big bush in Stanley's yard. Then Stanley got a dog. Every day, Stanley asks, "Do you want to play in my yard today?" Every day, I say, "No, thanks." I would like to play in Stanley's yard, but I am afraid of his dog. Stanley's dog is big and black. Her name is Misty. She sits outside tied to a long rope. When Stanley and I play in my front yard, Misty runs and jumps and barks. "Misty says she wants to play with us," says Stanley. I do not know what Misty says. I do not speak Wolf. Chapter 2 A Very Important Job. Stanley is not at school today. Stanley hurt his arm, says Miss Green. Let's make him a get well card. We all work together to make a get well card for Stanley. I draw a picture of Stanley and me and Misty playing together in Stanley's yard. Who will take the card to Stanley? Asks Miss Green. I jump up and say, I will. It is a very important job, says Miss Green. I can do it, I say. Then I remember Misty. I will have to go to Stanley's house to take the card to him, but I am afraid of Misty. I'm about to say that I have piano lessons after school, when Miss Green says, That's wonderful, Sophie. Thank you. Chapter 3 I Am Afraid. So here I sit on my front steps. Misty sits at the end of her long rope across the street at Stanley's house. Where is Stanley? I call. Misty wags her tail. Woof, she says. I do not understand. Can I come over? Misty jumps up. Woof, she says. I do not understand if she means yes or no. Then the front window opens and I see Stanley's face. Hi, Sophie, he calls. Hi, Stanley. Is your arm better? A little better, he says. What are you doing? I have a card for you, I say. Are you going to bring it to me? I want to, but I am afraid of Misty. She is a nice dog, says Stanley. She is big. Yes, she is big, says Stanley. But she is a nice dog. She jumps. Tell her to sit and stay, says Stanley. I do not speak wolf. It's okay. Misty speaks people, says Stanley. I'm afraid, I whisper. You can do it, Sophie, says Stanley. Chapter 4. Being Brave. I feel like crying. I look at the card in my hand. I see the picture I drew of Stanley and me and Misty playing together. Then I hear Miss Green's voice inside my head saying, It is a very important job. I look across the street and I see my best friend. He looks sad. I take a deep breath and walk across the street. Misty stands up and jumps and barks. I stop and shout, Misty, sit! Misty sits. When she is sitting, she does not look so big. I put my hand up and I say, Misty, stay! Misty stays. I walk up to the front door. The front door opens. Stanley is smiling so big. You did it, he says. I'm smiling too, but my legs feel wobbly like the jello I ate at lunch. I give Stanley his card with the picture I drew of him and me and Misty playing together in Stanley's yard. When it is time to go home, I feel afraid to walk past Misty again, but not as afraid as before. I feel better when Stanley's mother wants to walk me across the street. In case of cars, she says, winking at me. I am glad. I have had enough of being brave for one day, but who knows what I can do tomorrow. Did you guys enjoy that book? That was a really nice story of how Sophie overcame being afraid of Stanley's dog. How about you? What do you do when you're afraid to do something? Do you take a deep breath and do it anyways, just like Sophie did in this book? Do you remind yourself that I'm strong, I can do this? Well, my dear brave readers, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I want to leave you with, you are important, you are brave, and you are loved. I will see you later. Bye.